Good evening to everyone present here. On behalf of Warsa Foundation, Pune, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to today's online lecture organized on the occasion of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Jayanti and International Mother Language Day. Warsa Foundation works in the field of cultural heritage with a special focus on the identification, documentation, and preservation of both tangible and intangible heritage. The foundation is committed to safeguarding intangible cultural heritage, including oral traditions, performing arts, traditional knowledge systems, rituals, festivals, and community practices that constitute the living heritage of society. Through research, field documentation, lectures, workshops, exhibitions, and digital initiatives, Warsa Foundation seeks to create public awareness about cultural heritage and its social significance. The foundation actively engages scholars, students, artists, and local communities, and all its activities are carried out voluntarily, driven by dedication, ethical practices, and a shared responsibility towards heritage preservation. It is in this spirit that we are honored to host today's lecture. We are privileged to have Mr. Udaya Kumar, a Bengaluru-based heritage conservationist and the Honorary Director of the Bengaluru Inscriptions 3D digital conservation project at the Mythic Society, Bengaluru. Trained as a mechanical engineer with a master's degree from IIT Madras, Mr. Kumar transitioned from a long and distinguished career in technology sector to the field of heritage conservation. He currently leads large-scale initiatives to digitally document and preserve endangered stone inscriptions using 3D scanning and advanced digital technologies. His work uniquely bridges epigraphy, technology, and public engagement, making India's rich inscriptional heritage accessible and meaningful to the future generations. Today's lecture, titled From Stone to Screen, The Role of Technology in Conserving Ancient Scripts, resonates deeply with the objectives of International Mother Language Day, as it highlights innovative approaches to preserving scripts, languages, and knowledge systems in the digital age. With this, I request Mr. Udaya Kumar to kindly begin this lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let me share my screen. Okay. All right. So thank you for the opportunity. And today's talk is going to be a little bit different from probably what you have heard. I'm not sure about the background of the people, but I suppose most of you know are epigraphists or historians. Technology may not be something you know very well. Nevertheless, we don't need to know anything. So let me essentially give you a little bit of brief about the organization I'm with, and then take you through the rest of the talk. So the Mythic Society was founded in 1909. It was founded in Bangalore by 17 Europeans and 1 Indian. And essentially it is focused on history, heritage, religion, linguistics, and allied subjects. So we don't really work in any areas other than this. We're very focused in what we do. We're very famous for the Delhi Memorial Hall, which you're seeing there. This hall was built in the year 1916, and this is one of the auditoriums that we have in our society. So the main activities are, we have an extraordinarily good library stocking books in the same topic. So there's history, heritage, and allied subjects. So it's probably one of the best, amongst the best libraries in southern India at least. A lot of books on the Indic history. It's basically a destination for researchers and scholars, not just in India, but we have a lot of overseas visitors coming here to access some of the rare books we have here. The Mythic Society also publishes a journal. It's called the Quarterly Journal of the Mythic Society. It's been published every quarter from 1909 without missing a quarter, and historians are quite familiar with this. Also other publications, a few books. And the other thing that happens regularly is like what you're doing here now. We have usually 1 or 2 lectures a month and seminars on the month on these topics. It's a place where we call people from India and across the world to give lectures. All of them are in person and they're also shared on YouTube. So we have a small art gallery, as well as we also fund some research projects. So one of the research projects is the Bengaluru Inscriptions 3D digital conservation project. Okay. So what do we do here? Now, the region of Bengaluru, which I mean is about 3 districts in and around Bengaluru, has about 1,500 inscriptions documented. There's probably even more than that, yet to be documented. Many of them are getting destroyed, largely because of urbanization. The pace of growth of these cities, spaces where the stones were installed, fields, village gates, temples, all of these places are getting modified, and in the process they're getting destroyed. Also, almost all of them are not recognized. The general public don't know what they are. And you're seeing 2 examples here on the right side. So one is, this is an 8th century hero stone. Let me put on the cursor so you can see So this is an 8th century hero stone, and you can see it's sitting in a roadside ditch. Now, all the examples that I'm going to be showing here are from Bangalore. But the story is exactly the same in every city, town, and village in the country. Whether you're in Hyderabad, Pune, Nagpur, Nasik, or Mumbai, or anywhere else, it's exactly the same story. So here's one at the bottom. This is from the 14th century. It's both are. The first one is a hero stone in which the hero's death is recorded. A martyr's death is recorded when there's an attack on his town. The second one is a 14th century inscription where a village is being turned into an agrahara. As you can see, there are a lot of weeds and it's overgrown, all of that. So while the knowledge is known and documented in a few books, and maybe 1 or 2 students or researchers know about it, the general public is clueless about this. And it's actually tragic because those inscription stones were not put up for some 26-day researcher, MA student or a PhD student. They were put up for the people of that village. So this is the state of affairs today. So how this project started was where I am now in my house. Actually, in the early days, it was more like a village, not really a part of the city of Bangalore. So in the year 2017, somebody told me that this village, whose name was Ketmarnhalli, as you can see here, this is now better known as the locality of Rajajinagar, but old-timers know that this was the village of Ketmarnhalli. So that there was an inscription stone from around the 14th century there, where I carried the village name Ketmarnhalli. It's also in that. So that was the first time I learned that this village was that old, 600 years old. So most people would, think that, the locality is about 30, 40 years old or something like that. But in reality, the locality is 600 plus years old. So I went looking for that inscription stone. I found it documented in a book called Epigraphy of Karnataka. I went looking for it, and then found out that it is lost now. It's not traceable. That was very tragic because the only record of the historic, the antiquity of this village had been destroyed or lost forever. So in the book there were a lot of more inscriptions documented in and around my home and in and around my workplace. So I went looking for them, and I found that about 40% of those inscriptions are not traceable today. So that was very, very surprising. Everywhere I went, I heard essentially the same story. We don't know there's an inscription stone there and it would be right there. Or they would say, you're 20 years too late, it was destroyed when this building was constructed. So that is, at that time, I come from a technology background as was said in the study, this one. So the first thing I did was, the stones were also flaking away and eroding away. Right? The writing on the stone was hardly visible. So in the area, in the sector where I come from, there was something called 3D scanning, which is basically, in the defense and aerospace sectors, reverse engineering of parts is done. And so since I came from that sector and I knew that we could digitally copy these inscriptions, I said, let's try it out on stone. And what you're seeing here is an example of how it works. Let me switch off the pointer. Yeah. So here you'll see a person holding something like a small plastic device in his hand, and that's an inscription stone. And there's a light going off. So essentially what is happening is, let me move this away so that I can move this. Okay. So as is moving it there, the surface coordinate data. This was during COVID, which is why people are all wearing masks there. So the surface geometrical data in terms of XYZ coordinates is being captured in that sophisticated device and being stored on the laptop there. So essentially, when we say 3D scanning, this is what's happening. Okay. So there on the laptop, you will see some patches and some things. It's not very clear here, but I'll show it in more detail later. So this is the nature of how we build digital copies. Okay, these are far, far superior to Western pages. Okay, and then the other, that's how we copy. That would kind of protect or digitally conserve the inscription. But the problem of knowledge is, while it's documented in books, common people don't read those kind of very rare esoteric books. They don't go to libraries like the Mythic Society library in Bangalore or the Bhandarkar Oriental Institute in Pune or any one of these kind of libraries. It's intended only for historians. So in order to make the information accessible, what we did was we essentially built a Google map. And you can access this map right now if you want by clicking on that link there. This is a live map, and let me show you the map itself. So this is the map that I was showing you there. So each of these icons, the green heart, the red skull, or a question mark, is a location of an inscription stone. And what you're seeing here, here is the city of Bengaluru. And what you're seeing here colored, or the polygons inside, are essentially the wards of the city of Bengaluru. So we have about 248 administrative wards. Okay. So what we have done here is, the green heart essentially means the inscription is there at that place. It exists today, you can go see it. A red skull mark like here essentially means the inscription stone is destroyed. It's not traceable. It was documented in a book, and subsequently it has been destroyed. It's not traceable today. So if we did a little bit more. So essentially, in one snapshot, this is a project area. There's about 1,500 inscriptions here in and around the city of Bangalore. So as you can see, there are a lot of red skull marks. There's approximately about 30 to 40% skull marks. It's not only the city area, the urban area, but even in the rural areas, which is the outside here, you see a lot of inscription stones are lost. They're not traceable. Now, this is essentially the state of affair anywhere in the country today. I've had this kind of checks done in Pune, in Hyderabad, in Varanasi, and a few other places. The numbers are not vastly different. Whether it's rural or urban, again, it's not vastly different. Inscription stones are being destroyed. Now, we built this map so that people can access it freely. They don't have to go look at books like Epigraphy Indica or whatever. So this is a live map. What you can do is when you click on an icon, the information about that icon comes up here. A photograph shows. So, it will show you, sometimes the photograph, more than one photograph, there's some videos and all of that. Okay, I'll skip it because I'm having a little bit slow speed issues here. But you're seeing here, what is I'm looking at the left side of the screen now. This inscription is from the period 1528. It is in the Kannada language. We give the English translation, published. We also give a rereading. So when we scan an inscription, we can see it better, and I'll show you a model in a second. So we make we correct a lot of errors when we give a rereading. Again, the inscription is in Kannada, then we give the Kannada transliteration. If it is in Tamil, we give the Tamil transliteration, or Devanagari, we give the Chinese one. So we give the related documentation. If you click on this, it will take you to the exact book or where it is documented. You can read it. So there's lots of information out here. It will show you that. Let's hope it comes up quickly. I'll come back to this later. So you can do better than all this, because it's in a Google map. I can say, give me a route map from to that location, from wherever you are. Let me say from my home, I want to go there. So it's going to give me a route map. Let me switch off from the and it says it's going to take me 33 minutes, and it will land me right in front of that stone. So anybody can go see this, visit this, then open up this map, click on the icon, read the text of the inscription, read the summary of the inscription, and all of that. So this is a way for people to actually, for the inscription information to become more accessible. So as you can see, it's been viewed about 6.5 lakh times so far. The Epigraphy of Karnataka book or Indica book, all copies of that book printed in the last 100 years have not been read 6.5 lakh times. So in the few years that we have put up this map, we made it. We shared the information with all kinds of people. There's also contact information here about how if people want to give us feedback, we can do it and all of that. So sometimes I get messages saying, I went looking for the inscription, I couldn't find the inscription, and I am a native of this place. We've been living here for hundreds of years. We didn't know about this, but using a map now I know about it. So we have all kinds of people. We have obviously students and researchers. More than students and researchers, we have ordinary people going there. We have auto rickshaw drivers, we have plumbers, we have all kinds of people calling us or messaging us and telling that they use this map and they found it very useful. So so what you are seeing here is upwards of about 10,000 pages of text without the photographs. So here we give the photographs, we give the video and all that. So this is one of the examples of how we use modern technology, digital technology, for in our work itself. Okay, so I'll go back to the presentation. Yeah, so almost everything we do is essentially digital in nature. So this is a second example of that, and I already explained this to you. But I'll explain a little bit different part of the map itself. This is a static shot of the map. So what we have done here is, if a place name or a ward name is mentioned in an inscription, and if that inscription is from a certain period, we use this color code. So for example, this ward is essentially the Yalanka ward. The first mention of Yalanka in an inscription stone is from the period 1200 to 1300. Okay, let me switch on the pointer so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so this ward is the Yalanka ward, and this inscription stone has the name Yalahanka in it, and that is from the period 1200 to 1300, which is why we gave it the yellow color. So whichever ward names we have found in inscriptions, whatever the period of that inscription, we have colored it like that. So essentially, we are saying regions within the city of Bangalore. We can tell at least how old they are. The first mention on inscription stone is what we are showing here. Now look at this picture. Instantly, you can understand the antiquity of the city of Bangalore. So the oldest locality is from 500 CE, that is here, which is why I said, do you know Bengaluru is 1500 years old? A lot of people think Bengaluru is a modern, high-tech city. This map is telling a totally different story. It is a modern high-tech city. It is also a historic city. And this is probably, I'm not sure, 100% sure, but this is probably the only or one of the few cities in the world where we have a map of this type. Now, this is GIS at work. This is, again, digital technologies at work. Right? So the city of Bengaluru itself actually is the name, what you're seeing here at the bottom, that's Bengaluru in Kannada, inscribed in 8th century inscription stone. So the name Bengaluru for this place has been in use for at least 1100 years. Okay, so this map is freely accessible. I already explained this legend to you as well. You can either scan the QR code or you can use this hyperlink and reach it. Now look at how powerful this is. 6.5 lakh people have viewed this information, continue to view it every day. This gets on average about 20 to 30 views every day. I don't think there is any book in epigraphy that gets read 20, 30 times a day. But here it is, and this is not even a book. Okay, all right. So what is the solution to this, the destruction problem? Destruction is not necessarily man-made. So the inscriptions are getting, they crack, they flake, they wear away. Nature, because of rain and sun itself, they're kind of eroding. So there is this problem, and we need to kind of come up with a solution. And this is the solution that we came up with in our project team. This is the same scanner that you saw in the video clip earlier. It's an extremely sophisticated device, so that each of these is a camera, and they're angled in different directions, and each of these is a flashlight. A lot of people mistake it for if I show it from the other side, it looks like a plastic iron box. It is not a plastic iron box. It's a space-age device. So essentially what we do is, as you saw, that we carry the scanner and the laptop to the site. So wherever we go, on the site, we scan it, that's all. Then we come back to our lab, and then we work on the data, we clean it up, we do a lot of alignment, registration, fusion, and all of that. And then we come up with a 3D model of the, stone itself. So let me show you how it looks like now. What does a 3D model look like? So I'm using a software now, and what I'm showing you is a digital model. Right now, it probably looks like a photograph to you. It doesn't look. It's a photograph of this one. So like a photograph, we can zoom and pan and all that, and you'll begin to see some light and lighting. But this is not 2D. This is 3D. So I can actually rotate it from left and right. That's what we mean. There's backside writing as well. So I can see the backside writing and all of that. So you can see the stone has flaked away here. Portions of this is gone. It's gone forever. And in the years to come, slowly this will grow. In other places also the same thing will happen. So the writing here is gone now forever. There's a letter here, but this is gone. Okay. Now this model is an extremely high accuracy, precise model of the inscription. Anything which was a 0.05 millimeter thick on that stone is captured here in the digital model. So I can zoom in. I'm not sure if on Google Meet you can see this. When I zoom in, I can see the chisel marks as well. The ridges, you can see the ridges of the sculptor when he was carving. When you hit every stroke of the chisel would have left a ridge mark there. That's what you're seeing. My guess is you'll not be able to see this on a Zoom Meet here. Okay, but anyway. So also 0.05 millimeters for you to understand is the thickness of a human hair. So in case there was a hair on the stone, and when we were scanning it, it would have captured the hair as well. Okay. So now we have a model. So what do we do with this? As you can see, it's not very easily readable. What we can do is we can do some computational tricks or magic here. I'm shining a light from left to right and right to left. As you see, the visibility of the writing increases. So when the light is, you can do this with the torch as well, on the real stone. It's called the raking torch technique. Shine the torch tangentially or angle it or whatever, and the shadow effect will improve the visibility of that as well. Here I'm doing it on a computer. I can change the color of the light, the intensity of the light, and all of that. Okay, but still, some portions of it are not readable. So while the visibility improved a little bit, it's not really very readable. So what I can do is I can use some very sophisticated rendering algorithms and strip away the color of the stone. So I'm going to do that, or rather apply some specific rendering algorithms and try to make it look better. Keep looking at the screen on the inscription stone. You will see suddenly the writing becomes much more visible. There you are. It should now look even better than before, but still it's not so great. What I will do is I'll strip off the color and let's see what happens. Okay, before that, let me do a little bit of inverter, and there you are. The visibility improved a little bit more. Suddenly, I'll switch it off. You'll see it wasn't very visible. Now it's much better. Okay, I'm going to switch off the color, and you'll see suddenly the readings become so much more easier. Now let me do something else. There you are. This is almost like writing on a whiteboard or a chalkboard. This is very, very readable now, if you know the script. Okay, so you can use a lot of other algorithms to make it much more visible, improve the readability, and all of that. So an stamp page is absolutely no comparison to this. With an stamp page, you would barely be able to see any one of these things. You can if you know a script, you can read it. The right of the right of the stone here is saying Swasti Sri Sakavarusha something, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is how a 3D model looks. So let me and we capture the sculptures, everything which you would normally not have if you are doing a stamp page on this. Right. All right. So let me go back to my presentation. That's how it looks. Okay. Now this is, I would say, the modern way of copying an inscription. Applying flour, applying chalk powder, strapping a paper and taking a stamp page. I think those methods are very crude. And they're okay. But if you really want to do serious work, you want to make digital replicas and make sure the data is easily shareable with anyone, all of that, then this is a very better way to do it. So essentially in our project, when I showed you that map, we go village to village, road to road, and then we build such 3D models. That was for one inscription. So for all the 1,600 inscriptions in this region, we will be digitizing that. We currently digitize about 700 inscriptions in 4 years. So we will be doing the rest of it in the coming years as well. So probably in that sense, this is the world's largest digital conservation project for inscriptions at the moment. 1 or 2 inscriptions in museums or very special inscriptions have been digitized. But to the best of my knowledge, this area is about 6,500 square kilometers. So to the best of my knowledge, there's no one who's attempting to digitize 1,600 inscriptions in a 6,000 plus square kilometer area. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So that is the heart of what we do. Now, everything we do in our project is essentially public-centric or society-centric. So what have we done with all those models, images? We have shared them freely on Wikimedia Commons. Why did we choose Wikimedia Commons? Because it's a place where a lot of information is accessed from the world over, very popular for exchanging information. You can scan this QR code now or use the a shortened link and check out all the images. We shared upwards of about 1,000 images, inscriptions plus photographs plus a lot of other images there. freely. Nobody needs to pay us, nobody needs to request us or anything like that. The only thing we expect is for people to credit the source as our project team for that. Okay. Now, let me show you something. Yeah, okay, let me come back to that in a while. So, we also write a lot of articles. One of our modes of publishing is the Wikipedia itself. Let me go back here. Okay. So when you publish in a journal, any journal, and a reputed journal or a QJ, our own QJMS or some other journal, the readership for that is very, very, very small. But if you want to reach if you want to reach the masses, then the Wikipedia is a great way to publish. So these are all localities of the city of Bangalore. What we have done is we have created wiki article pages, and let me show you an example for one of them. This article is written by us. In the region of Begur, all the inscriptions and hero stones that we have scanned and we have reread and we have documented, we written it as an article here. It's a scholarly article. We try to use simple language and all of that, but the quality of this is the same quality that we would put into our QJMs. So we share digital images, we share summaries of inscriptions, we share the transliterations, and anything which is significant here, we do that. Yeah. Now the beauty of it is, this gets fantastic readership. And I'm showing you here for a few select pages. So anytime there is a mention of, there's something that happens in a locality and it comes on the TV or a newspaper or whatever, and people do a Google search, the first hit usually is the Wikipedia page for that inscription or this one there. So these are all the pages like what I showed you just now. So if you see, most of them are getting 5, 10, 12, 20 views a day. Now, please think about this carefully. Do you know a single inscription in India which gets read 20 times a day, other than these? Consistently, we get this kind of readership. So if you want to share history, and most of these people I bet are not historians. There are a few historians. Most of them are commoners. People of that locality maybe, or they're interested in something and they're finding it. And then they find high quality information like this. Now the same information is getting reused in articles, blogs, a lot of those places. So not only are we sharing it directly, we are also influencing the dissemination of this information in many ways. So the way we like to publish information is Wikipedia. We do it just for academic sake. We do it in a journal and some other journals and all of that. But that is more for, it's a more thorough documentation and an acknowledged peer-reviewed and all of that. But who reads peer-reviewed journals other than historians or the authors themselves? So we chose to publish our material like this. Okay. All right. So now the next question, and this is slightly again different. The team itself is pretty young, like some of the people you know on the call here. People who have done their MAs and PhDs and all of that. Now, when we started reading, we found that there were differences between what was published and what we were reading. In the early days, I was a little skeptical about the reading skills of ourselves, our team. But consistently, inscription after inscription, I was finding that there were corrections needed for that. I was still very skeptical, and then I said, let me do an exercise which I would do typically in an engineering world. Or in any product manufacturing company, we do what we call as quality comparisons. How does my product compare with whatever is the specification? How does my product compare with a competitor's product? And these are statistical methods for doing it. So essentially, I wanted to check our team's performance against the best epigraphists we have alive today in Karnataka. So what we did was, we gave the same images that we were using to read, to those epigraphists and ask them to read independently. So they would read the inscription and we would parallelly read the inscription, and I would compare what our reading was as compared to the experts. This one, the expert is the gold standard, right? And there's a statistical method to say how good or how bad you are as compared to the expert, and that is what I'm showing here. I'm not sure if it's very visible, but I'll try and explain. So this is one inscription which is documented in the book Epigraphia Carnatica. That is the image here. The same images were used to read, and you saw how we generate this already. So the expert read the reading and gave a reading. So the differences between the experts reading the letters that the expert read and the printed this one, you can either follow the Kannada or you can follow the IST. I'll follow the IST because most of you will be probably conversant with this. So this word was mattu. This was only mat. The matra was missing in the expert's reading. Whereas we also found it to be the same. So the red color letter here indicates a difference in reading between published and us. And this is what the expert found, and this is what we found. Okay. So in this particular case, the total number of aksharas are 34. The number of corrections the expert gave was 6, which essentially means the corrections were about 17% of that, of the published reading, which is more or less the same in our case too, with minor differences. That's all. So this is for one particular inscription. So we did this exercise for upwards of about 30 inscriptions. And then there is a statistical method. I won't go into it because I don't think you will be able to follow it. So here you are seeing 22 such inscriptions. There's a value. The statistical test results in something called a kappa value. What it says is when we compare two people, how closely are they in agreement? Would it happen by chance? That is what it says. So if higher the kappa value, higher this one that it is not happening because of chance. So here you are generally in the industry, 0.6 is considered as a good enough number to say both of these people are equally good or performing equally. So here you are seeing in most cases we are 0.8, 0.9, 1, and so on and so forth, which essentially says our team is as competent as the expert team in Karnataka today. Very senior people these are. They've been working at epigraphy for 30 years or 40 years or whatever. Now please understand the implications of this. So far in the world of history or epigraphy or all of these, there's no quality establishment except reputation. When an excavation is done, when an object is categorized, classified, or whatever, when an inscription is read, rarely is there an opportunity for anyone to go back and study it again, validate what was done. Let's say somebody did a carbon dating for some object and that said this is 2,221 years old. You're going to take your word for it. You won't get another sample and you won't get it tested in another lab to revalidate it and all of that. I mean, other than that team, no one else does that. But this is the norm in most of the fields. If a medicine is released in the market, you can get that drug tested in any lab you want, and people do that. If the vehicle manufacturer claims that the vehicle is giving 21 kilometers per liter, everybody is rechecking that. Is mine giving 18, mine giving 22 or 23 or whatever? If you find any variation, you're going back to the manufacturer. There is a cross check. There is a validation that happens. But that's not the case in the field of history or archaeology or epigraphy or anything like that. So now if I go back, what happened was we took about 200 odd inscription readings. And then we did a data science and analysis of that. And that's what I'm showing you here now. So that we took a Akshara set of about 28,270 characters published, and then we compared it against what we are thinking it is. So this is what it is showing you here is which are the highest misread characters. So I'll read it out for you. Actually, I can show you I can think we are short of time. We'll skip it. The highest misread letter is Ra, followed by the, followed by Ya. And then if I had to actually click on this here in the software, say what would Ra have been misread as? Ra, Ram, Ru, and so on and so forth. Anyway, when we took the entire population, we found about 18 to 19% of any given inscription needs to be corrected. Now, please think about the implication of this. All history based on inscriptions is at least 18% in error. What are these errors? These are errors in place names, people names, dates. Many things have been wrongly reported, all of that. If anyone tells you history is factual, I read the inscription, you can be 100% sure there's at least 18-19% in errors in that. Many cases, it's even much higher. Some are lower, of course. So here we have brought in an analysis technique from data science to identify misread characters. And we built a prediction algorithm as well. I won't go into it. Each period, we know certain characters have been more misread than the others. And we know what it has been misread as. So now we built a software, even without scanning, even without reading, given a line of text, it will predict the possibility of an error of every single letter there and give you the alternates. So sitting at your desk itself, you can potentially identify some glooming errors, or you can try and correct the text also. Okay. So here's again another interdisciplinary approach where we brought in some other techniques to epigraphy. Okay. So if you want to see those tools, the software comparison tools, they're available online. You can scan this QR code. So I'm not going to demonstrate this now because we don't have the time, but you can try it out. It works only for Kannada now, but we'll do this for other scripts as well in the years to come as well. Okay. So here's what happens with digital models. So we had the stone, we built a 3D model. We can actually 3D print it any size we want. Here in this case, this inscription stone is about 5 foot tall. We printed it to be about 12 inches tall. So I'm holding it in my hand. Then I can make metal replicas or other replicas of these. Okay, so you can go from the physical to the digital and back to the physical as well. You can make thousands of copies of that, and this is what I'm showing you here. The first photograph I showed you of a hero stone sitting in a ditch, this is what it is. So we made about 1,000 copies of these, and then we give it off to people. So these are sitting in homes of people, the puja rooms of people, the offices, their desks, and everywhere else as well. They've gone to all places in India. They've gone to many places abroad as well. Okay. Now this is one of the important things I wanted to show you. We built a software called the Akshara Bandara. Because we have scanned so many inscriptions, we have so many samples of Kannada, ancient Kannada, Tamil, and Devanagari, characters from different times. So let me show you that software. This is bilingual. This is the software. You just have to type Akshara space Bandara and you will get it as well. So this is the Kannada interface right now. I'm switching to English so that you can all follow it. So this is currently has about 40,000 Kannada Aksharas. Currently there's only Kannada in this. Okay. So there's many features. I'll show a few, but you can explore this later. So this is the Varnamala there, the A, I, E, U, and all of that. So it's showing you here. These are images like I already showed you from the model. How was the letter A in the 3rd century in this region? Okay, it's showing in the year. These are all samples from inscriptions, the real ones. In the 3rd century, we have 5 or 6 samples. We get more. You can keep saying, show me more, and you keep me showing more. 5th century, 6th century, 8th century, and you'll see it slowly modifying and changing. You can see the evolution of the script century by century. For every one of these, let me show you for Ra. This is the letter Ra. Wherever we have a sample, we show it to you. It'll pick up and show it to you randomly from there. 6th century, 8th century. This is a very rare Ra, which is not used in use today. And so on and so forth. Now, this is no big deal for the Varnamala. What we can do is we can do the exact same for Gunitaksharas. Let me switch to IIST. Sadly, I have an internet speed problem today, but bear with me. You can try it yourself. Okay, while it loads, let me come back to, I was showing you something else there. Yeah. Okay, so it's to do something else. Still, it's pretty slow. I'm sorry. No, I am not loading it. Okay. So, what shall I show you then? Okay. So let me show you something which is not so data intensive. Hopefully, this will load up faster. Okay, I'll show the rest of the stuff and then come back and show you this. So I already showed you about the Wikipedia pages, how powerful they are and all of that. In fact, most of these articles have been put up by students who intern with us. So we educate them on Wikipedia editing guidelines. We give them the material. We proofread it and all of that. But a lot of this is done by students, and only the final or the validation of it will be done by us. Okay, so this is a snapshot of what all can be possible, what all is possible using a digital model. Okay, so the core of what we do is we build 3D digital models. The same thing we do, we use it for our readings. That's the epigraphy part. And I showed it to you just now. We verify these if it's already published, and we decipher this, and then we publish it. For formal academic publishing, we publish it in QJMS, and then it goes on to the Wikipedia and all of that. The core of why we are doing all of this is conservation. Stamp pages get lost. They get torn. They're not. Most stamp pages for our project area are not available today. So the stone that was destroyed, we don't even have a stamp page for that now. So we do digital models and we store it in archives. We have a copy with ourselves. We give copies to the archaeology department as well. And in case a university researcher or whoever asks for a specific this one, we share the model with them for studies or something like that as well. And then we do use the model for software development. So we have developed ancient fonts based on the data that we have there. So we are now developing some software, AI, ML kind of software to read it. The data science analysis part, I showed it to you, identifying error patterns and things like that as well. Then replicas and memorabilia. So we, we can create physical copies. I showed you a memento for one such inscription. You can print it on stone, metal, whatever you want. You can use it on T-shirts. You can use it on posters. A lot of these things are used. Extensively, we use it for events. Whenever we give talks like now, or when we do events in the neighborhood or in the villages or seminars and all of that, we use this. So the core of the digital model is essentially leveraged in multiple ways. Okay, so it kind of suddenly opens up a complete. Okay, here's a how we publish inscriptions. So here right now there's about 190 inscriptions. I'll take one at random. Let's hope it comes through quickly. There you are. For this particular inscription, it'll load up in a second. So we give the complete information there. Where is it from? What period is it from? All of that, the summary of it, and then a line by line. Let me switch to IST so you can follow. Make it bigger so you can hopefully see it there. Yeah. Line by line, character by character, the reading and the letter and the image. So within Akshara Bandara itself, we publish these, information which would either gone into Epigraphy Karnataka or Epigraphy Indica, whatever like that. So anybody can read this. This is how we ensure transparency. If we publish a reading today for an inscription, most people don't publish high quality images for anyone to work from and verify. Here we have every letter here. If you decide, you can check whether my reading is right. If you disagree, you can use the same images and you can write a new article saying, that reading is corrected to this. This is how we ensure, things get read. So this is going to take some time to load. I'll skip this part. Let's see if this one is, this one has come through. So thankfully. So here, this is the letter K. I can switch to, So this is the letter K, the Gunita Aksharas, Kaka, Kiki, and all of that. So it's showing you for century by century the various forms that have been used. Okay, you can find the evolution of not just the consonants and vowels, but every Gunita Akshara, every Matra, everything you want, you can study here. So right now we have about 40,000 Aksharas loaded here. We have more than many lakhs, but we haven't loaded it all up here because it's not useful. Now, people, in Karnataka, there are probably only 2 or 3 institutes which teach epigraphy, Kannada epigraphy. Those are in-person, classes, either in the evening or full-time courses or whatever. It's not feasible for everyone to go. People can use this software sitting anywhere in the world. You folks can use it wherever you are today and learn it as well. The software has a lot of features, most of which I cannot show you. You can search for a certain character. You can build a word. You can type your word. You can type your name in modern script and ask for it to be shown in 10th century script, 8th century script, and all of that. So you can do a lot of things in the software. I don't have the time and unfortunately right now the speed either of the internet either to do it. But you can try it out yourself if you know Kannada, this one. So which is why we call this as Akshara Bandara, which is the treasure trove of Aksharas. This has a daily user base of about 30 to 50 people any given day. Not people only from Karnataka, but I see users coming in from most places, a lot of places in India and a lot of places abroad. I see people from USA, from Germany, from Australia, from Japan using this as well. Now, there are textbooks, which publish these Varnamala in, they'll say Ganga style, Koisala style, whatever. Actually, that's a bullshit thing because no king actually caused any script. Script changes with time. So there is the 9th century script or the 10th century script and all of that. So now, because we give so many variations, you can see the real stuff, not somebody's imagined or handpicked or whatever. Like in this case, let me try and see. This also is Ka. This also is Ka, but they're two different. This is all very much needed if you're really going to work on the field. Okay, so that is another of the outputs of our project. So this is the gist of what we do. We do a lot more. I'm not going to be talking about it. Citizen scholar partnership is extremely powerful. Scholars working in isolation, not much. A lot of those stuff that you saw today, Akshara Bandara software, the techniques that we are using in the software, they're not the outputs of historians. They come from people from other fields. They come from ordinary citizens as well. The interdisciplinary approaches are all the stuff I've shown you today are impossible in the traditional ways. We're borrowing from practices elsewhere, and that's the power of what today's technology allows us to do. But professional rigor is very important. You can't do it as a hobbyist, you can't do it whatever. So long as somebody is a professional in any field, whether it's a mathematician or whether it's a scientist or a historian, professionalism is inculcated and practiced. So that works fine. You don't have to think, you didn't study history, you don't know much about it. I think that's, no, it doesn't matter. Historians are not the only professional people in the world. So we do need to work with others and make it, to improve the field of history itself. And essentially, in our project, we are not saving stones. We are saving history itself. That's what I want to say. I'll leave it with this. I'll take any questions if you have, and we wait the 8 o'clock timing.
Thank you so much, sir. Anybody from the panel who had joined us can ask their questions. Please type the questions in the comment section in the message box. Thank you. So there was a question in the comment section in the message box. Somebody was asking whether the application also has Devanagari script in it.
Not at the moment. Today it has only Kannada in it. By the end of this year, we will have Tamil in that. Maybe next year we'll add Devanagari as well into it. So it's a phased approach. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and effort.
So one more question has come. They ask how to make it work in Maharashtra.
How to make what work in Maharashtra? I don't understand.
So I guess he's talking about the application that you just shared us about.
Akshara Bandara. What application? All that I've shown except the scanning is accessible freely on the worldwide on the web. You can access it. Yeah.
He asks about the 3D scanning.
How to make it work? You have to raise the funds and make it happen. That's all there is to that. So essentially, it is expensive equipment. It can't be done at a hobbyist level. So we are scanning about I said like about 2,000 inscriptions. Now the average cost for doing the work for an inscription will be about 2,000 to 3,000 rupees for us. The scanner that I showed you costs about 25 lakh rupees. So you can't use it on one inscription. You have to use it for thousands of inscriptions. Either the archaeology department has to do it, or an institution like Deccan College or one of the institutions such as ours have to fund a project and have to make it happen.
So there's one more question. Mohana Priya asks, for the Tamil script, would you be able to include the Pallava Granth script?
Yes. So, these are all fancy terms. Today, when I was showing you Akshara Bandara, I didn't use any of those terms. I kept referring to 2nd century, 3rd century, etc., etc. Pallava Grantha, there is no such thing as Pallava Grantha, really. It's essentially the evolution of the Tamil script from Brahmi to, in the early ages to later stages. So the certain period, they have labeled it as the Pallava Grantha. Yes, it will be a part of the this one here. So we are going to capture the entire spectrum from Ashokan Brahmi to current Tamil in that, just like we have done it for Kannada as well. Labels, I think, are absolutely meaningless. So what I showed you as 3rd century Kannada there, some people call it as Kadamba Kannada, and I don't like to call, which is the same as Pallava Grantha, by the way. So, it makes no difference. Yes, the simple answer to it, yes, but we are not going to use labels like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. For the ones asking, will the PPT be available to access for revision and all of it?
Sure,
the lecture will be available on YouTube, so you can get in connection with Mr. Dhananjay. Now handing over the session to Mr. Dhananjay Khandari, the founder of Warsa Foundation. Over to you, Dhananjay, sir.
Thank you so much, Chaitanya. And thank you so much, Kumar sir. On behalf of Warsa Foundation, I express our sincere gratitude to Udaya Kumar sir for delivering such an insightful and thought-provoking presentation. His lecture beautifully demonstrated how technology can play a transformative role in preserving endangered inscriptions and scripts, and how interdisciplinary approaches can bridge epigraphy, heritage conservation, and public engagement. We are truly grateful to him for sharing his valuable knowledge, experience, and vision with us. We would like also to thank all the participants who joined us today and contributed to the success of this lecture through their presence and engagement. I would like to acknowledge all the efforts of Warsa Foundation team, whose voluntary dedication and behind-the-scene work made the organization of this lecture possible. We warmly invite you to join us for the following 2 lectures over the next 2 days as a part of this lecture series celebrating International Mother Language Day. All the lectures are recorded and will be available on the Warsa Foundation's official YouTube channel. With this, I once again thank our speaker and all the participants and formally declare today's session closed. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.